The ultimate deck podcast. Need a show about outdoor living? This is where it's at. With your hosts, Shane Chapman and Way Lorette. Thank you for tuning in. Now let the show begin. Yeah. The ultimate deck podcast. Let's go.
Welcome back to round 2 of the Ultimate Deck Podcast with Wade and Shane at the Pool Spa Patio DeckExpo 2022 Las Vegas.
Extravaganza.
At the, they missed that word. Missed opportunity. Back here at the Owens Corning booth with the Wear Deck family and
Wood Bully. I thought you were going to say my name for me.
I was.
Okay.
But then you looked at me and I looked at you and we got lost in each other's eyes.
Yeah, nice pause opportunity.
We got Wood Bully here at the booth. So how you doing?
Excellent.
How you doing, man? You been around the show a little bit?
Yeah, I've been walking around looking at all the ugly faces, and I am happy to be here.
Found the ugliest ones here.
Yeah, I'm just excited about all the new technology and all this industry stuff that's getting me excited about bringing it home and making sure that my projects are different and better than everyone else's. And that's why we come to these things, right? Just to be amazing.
Yeah. Just working on being more amazing.
Yeah, what do they call it? Research and development.
Yes, R&D.
R&D,
I never,
Yes.
That's a lot of words.
Nobody
That's-
actually says research and development.
See?
Yeah,
He
you guys
can't
went to a
even say
4-year school, that's fine. You say stuff like that, I don't talk like that. We don't do that here.
Shane went to an 11-year school, actually.
Yeah, it's really good. It turns out. Anyway, we got Jimmy Ware here from Owens Corning. Now, is that weird to be like you're from Owens Corning?
Yeah, I say Owens Corning Wear Deck, and that's my voicemail now. So.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's official.
It's definitely official.
Okay.
So.
Well, the four of us are going to chat a little bit more about Wear Deck here. And Gord, this is. Do you want me to call you Gord or just Wood Bully? Like how?
I don't care.
Am I exposing you right now?
It doesn't
Do you
matter to
feel
me what-
exposed?
no, you can
Would
say
you like to
anything.
be exposed?
You can tell them. You can
You
call
are
me
in
anything
Vegas.
you want. Yeah. You
As
know
long as
what?
it stays
Is it okay if people know my real name? I'm pretty sure that's public knowledge, though.
I believe it is. Like
I have a name.
I have exposed it before.
your name is
Yeah.
not Wood.
No, actually, you know what? A lot of clients, not even clients, but like people who email me all the time, they think my name is Woody.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Well,
sort
it
of
is
bizarre.
now.
Yeah,
So,
Will be from now on.
yeah. I get a lot of pay attention Woody emails. Yeah.
Okay, well.
And I was like, okay.
I phoned
Hold
him. I phoned him like a couple weeks ago, and of course he answers, and I'm like, "Hey, is Brian there?" I thought I was like the most intelligent guy in the world. I was like, "Hey, is Brian there?" He's like, "Yeah." What? Who is this? Like, you have any idea how many times people phone me and ask me where Brian is?
Yeah, literally, it's quite often.
Like more than I get Gord or Woody.
What's Brian up to? And it's like, yeah, whatever,
Yeah.
man.
So this is I believe, your first crack at seeing this Wear Deck product
Yes.
in person. First thoughts, impressions.
Okay, so I feel like I had smoke blown up my butt at first because I was told, okay, so let me get this straight. From my knowledge, my research, and what I've been told, this
R&D.
product is like composite or PVC decking, but it's infused with fiberglass and it makes it better for structural applications. So we can use this for framing, replaces like SPF lumber, and B, longer spans between the joists, which means less cost in framing and less time, less fasteners, all of that stuff. And if that's true, I'm kind of excited to figure more about it.
Yeah, you hit that one right on the nail. I mean, it's an HTP product, reinforced with fiberglass, and the fiberglass kind of almost acts like a rebar in it, and that's why you don't get the expansion contraction. That's why you can get longer spans, and that's why we can do a structural lumber too. So, I mean, I'm excited to roll it out.
So the part that's blowing my mind is, I was told we can do 3-foot on center with the 2x material.
With 2x, yeah, you can.
And that means that's significantly less framing if we use the decking at 3-foot on center. For me, it's fun because I get to make a video doing 3-foot on center and having the world go into an uproar about what I'm doing.
This guy doesn't know what he's doing.
I wonder what the
Exactly.
actual joist data looks like, because if you have like 12 inches on center, you can actually span a little bit further with your understructure. But if you have 24 inches on center, it actually comes a little bit less. So I wonder what the data looks like at 3 feet on center.
I don't know.
Like
That's,
you
I've got no
tell us,
idea.
Jimmy. This
I
is your
got
rodeo.
no
you're the
idea,
one with the
'cause
answers here, not me.
because
Yeah.
nobody builds decks 3 feet on center.
Where's your engineer guy?
I'm doing it.
Well, think about it. Like, even if we could span like that, imagine how much less materials, time, and fasteners and energy we're investing into the same product. So to me, it kind of blows my mind if it's true, and that's why I had to come out here and see this thing. And then when you told me all this and I was reading about it, I was like, the product must look like garbage. There's no way it does all that stuff and looks good. And then when I got here and actually physically seen the samples, I was blown away by the fact that it looks competitively as good as any other of the top products on the market. So far, so good, very exciting. I have never installed it, but I plan to now after all this. What about you guys? You guys don't install anymore, do you?
No, but I think we have somebody here who has actually touched this in real life in person. Hey, this is a great segue. That was just
Wow, that
well
was
planned.
perfect.
Nick, why aren't you rolling up here?
Is that why he's standing
Come on,
there?
none of us can answer those questions. Nick Stevens is here from Legacy Decks as well, and these guys
can
have
have
actually
my mic.
done, like, you have to
Grab a
share.
mic.
It's like
We
pick
could all
whoever's,
share mics.
pick whoever's mouth you're most comfortable being close to.
I didn't have a Tic Tac before this.
But Legacy Decks has actually done a project with the structural lumber from these guys, so
Yes, we have.
he can answer your questions, Gord. How?
Okay.
What was the
Most
experience?
of them.
Okay.
So,
Get nice
our
and close to the mic there too.
Our
Yeah.
experience was actually really positive. We actually had WearDeck reach out to us and say, hey, we've got this product. Would you be interested in maybe doing on a couple of projects? So worked out because we actually were building a fairly large project down on the lake where they had water damage, had a subpar build on this $1.5 million home. So we were able to come in, present a solution for this homeowner, like, hey, you're not going to have to deal with wood framing ever again on this project. Installers started cutting it, loved moving it, loved the way it went down, didn't have to plane things, didn't have to line up joists, like all
yeah.
the normal stuff, like you said,
Yeah,
timing.
yeah.
And then from there, it was the homeowner then all of a sudden became a raving fan because we presented a solution outside of the normal realm. And James Gunn and I were actually just talking about this. There's so many different options now versus wood framing that we can present those things to our homeowners, provide more solutions, educate them more, and because there's not just one company doing this, they are more confident in making that advanced purchase because it's not like, all right, well, they're maybe trying this and next year they may not do it because it didn't work out. We've got multiple companies trying alternative framing, and that's going to really push the market for us.
It just helps to legitimize the whole category when there's multiple players in it, right?
Absolutely.
It's like, oh, there's lots of competition. That's a good thing.
Oh, it's
great.
fantastic, and I think that's the biggest thing is this industry is really starting to really grab a hold of innovation on a very fast-paced methodology right now. And I think ultimately it's going to change everything and a lot of great ideas. And I love something about DeckExpo is there's so much kind of collaboration, even among competitors. Like, hey, how do we make this a better industry? How do we improve the solutions that we're presenting rather than just regurgitating the same old thing over and over, change this, change that. Hey, what do we actually do to bring to our homeowners and present something for them?
Sure.
So,
What was the, from your homeowner's perspective, when you first pitched them this, did they have any reservations about it, or were they just like you guys have a good reputation, they chose you as a builder, they probably trust everything that comes out of your mouth, but was there any reservations they had about like, listen, it's not wood, so I don't know what this is? Or
So there was a little bit of that, kind of that education standpoint, but for us, it's easy for us to get really deep into the jargon and all that stuff to where we can nerd out over a new building material, but a homeowner will be like, okay, I don't know what anything that you just said. They think Owens Corning, they think fiberglass, they see Pink Panther, they're like, oh yeah, I see those rolls at, the big box stores. But for us, it was getting that product in front of them and showing it side by side to its wood counterpart that they really said, oh, okay, so that's the value there. That's the fact that I may spend a little bit more up front, but I'm saving myself money in the long run because I'm not going to have to redo this project in 10, 15, however many years you're going to get out of that wood framing, which we've all seen the quality of wood framings dropped over the years, and I don't see it necessarily improving.
So what did you guys have to do from a business perspective to train your crews into using it? Was there much at all, or was it kind of like, you guys are going to do this deck, it's going to look a little different, but it's going to work like wood, so have at her?
Almost really nothing. The only thing that we really kind of picked up on after the fact was when you're cutting the material, because it's got that fiberglass core, like wear long sleeves, face coverings, that kind of stuff, because it can get a little itchy. But outside of that, it cut almost easier than wood, went up faster. So for them, they came back and said, yeah, like this was as easy, if not easier, than working with wood products. So they're thrilled when we sell a project with it now.
That's good.
Because
Just keeps the morale up because I know the guys hate working with certain things. Even if I want them to work on certain things, there's certain things they just don't want to work with. One of the questions I have, obviously there's a warranty involved in this with the framing, where normally wood, the warranty is nothing, right? So you tell your client that as well, especially if you're near the water, the wood rots, guaranteed, no warranty. Don't call me in 2 years when your deck falls apart or when your dock falls apart. But this, obviously, what's the warranty on this?
So we're in the middle of kind of switching up the warranty a little bit. However, right now we have a lifetime warranty for all of our understructure and a 25-year commercial warranty.
Whose lifetime?
Of the original owner.
Okay.
Yep, so it's non-transferable.
Excellent answer, because I didn't even think you were going to have an
Oh,
answer.
no, I got you, man.
Okay, so the
Nice
lifetime
attempt
of
at a gotcha.
of
Gord.
the original
Not
purchaser.
today.
So if he's old, you guys are in luck. If he's young,
Yeah.
hopefully you're still in business.
I mean,
That's
if
great.
if you sell the house within a year and you reach out, I can make it happen.
I was going to say, is it transferable within a
It's
certain amount of
technically
time?
it's not, but I mean, if it's in a short period of time and you reach out to a representative, we'll make sure that we can kind of get that switched over, get some paperwork done, all the other
Because
stuff.
what's great about it is the other alternative framing methods, they rust. If you leave the cut ends exposed, or PT rots, especially if you, and PT ain't what it used to be. And like you said, a lot of the different sizes and the dimensions you're planing or you're notching or you're doing all this crazy work. With this stuff, it's all exactly the same, or
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it yet.
I mean, yeah, you don't have to seal anything. The great thing about using this compared to traditional wood is that you don't have to go and QC all of your product beforehand. It's all straight. You don't have to stain it. Every single board, it can also be treated like kind of a fascia board, sort of.
Yeah.
So you don't have to put a fascia afterwards. I mean, yeah.
Where are you guys out of when you're doing your work?
So we're out of Greenville, South Carolina, so the upstate of South Carolina.
Okay.
We handle that whole region, usually about within an hour of our office.
So what do you find for expansion and contraction from, like, I know you guys don't really have a winter like we do, but you would have your early morning and then your late afternoon would be two different temperatures, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So do you find that this expand and contracts a lot like PVC?
Not quite as much as that. I mean, there's minimal, but definitely not, for us, one of the big things that we were seeing, especially with pressure treated, was we couldn't determine, if it was going to come extra wet, extra dry, and then having all that, like, heck, just in the time span of us building the project, you're going to have joists decide to change their characteristics of that original layout.
Yeah.
So for this, that really eliminated that and gave us that opportunity to just, hey, we've done the framing, and now we're done with the framing. Like, it's not, all right, we've got decking down, all right, that one.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it baking in the sun and then changing its behavior.
That one swelled, or okay, now we got to go pull those deck boards up, swap that joist out, or plane it down, or all the fun stuff that the builders, they like to just move on to the next one. Submit
exciting.
Submit the paperwork, get paid.
What about handrails and stuff? Can we build handrails out of this stuff?
Yeah, I'm actually got quite a bit of people. They'll tee up 2x4s and 2x6s, so they act as a post. They'll use a 2x4 to act as like a joist for the top cap, and then on the top cap they'll use like a 5/4 by 8. I like the wider boards because it almost acts like a cocktail table in a way. So you can put like plates and cups and all that good stuff on there.
Another thing, do you guys make 2x2s yet?
We are working on that.
You should
2x2s,
imagine sleepers,
1x2s.
right? This stuff out of sleepers would be amazing, because every time we build sleepers, the main concern is the scientific fact that this will not live as long as a normal deck because it's directly contacted with moisture, right? That's the problem with sleepers. And I know there's another company that makes sleepers, but it's only warranted if you use their decking on top of their sleeper system. So it immediately stops me from being able to use it.
Yep.
Because if I have a different deck board I want to use, but say if I have a client who loves hardwood or cedar or something like that, but he wants it on a sleeper system, it would be nice to have a composite that I can use as a sleeper system and then put wood on top of it or something like that.
Yeah, there's some people that will actually rip our 2x4s directly in half and then use it as a sleeper. There's some people that will just keep the 2x4s in whole. And sometimes when they do a deck on top of concrete, they'll even tap con all the 2x4s on top. Yeah, and so...
and you don't have to worry about the air gaps because the stuff won't rot, right? So you can just slap it right on. That's exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Just so much about this is so positive. It's hard. I'm just trying to find something that we can say that sucks about it. So the first thing that sucks about it is, like most materials, you have to wear a long sleeve shirt, or you don't have to, but it's advised if you're not used to working with fiberglass, if you're not acclimated your skin to it yet. So it's just like any fiberglass insulation or something like that. You just don't want to get it all over your skin.
Yeah, I mean,
which goes without saying. Right?
You'll get some red bumps on your arms and that good stuff.
Yeah.
I had one guy said, he's like, "Oh, I got a bunch of spider bites on me." I was like, That's the fiberglass dude. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Just like when we were kids, we used to play fiberglass. We weren't supposed to. We learned our lesson pretty quick.
I always loved playing fiberglass as a kid.
I used to say, well, it looks
Sorry,
like
where'd you
cotton
grow up,
candy. Should I eat this? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's interesting. I had other questions. Like, do you guys actually run this pink color?
It's so funny. That pink color we just made for marketing purposes. So we just made one run of it and just sent it out just so that we can do custom colors. So given the right job, the right opportunity, we can make any color with our product.
See, that's
I can
cool.
actually speak to that. We're actually getting ready to do a job for the Ronald McDonald House in Greenville.
That's cool.
Where we're going to use their framing and we're going to do it in the red and yellow McDonald's colors for the framing. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that it really does allow that customization where, it may not be necessary for every homeowner. The black looks great on every project, but being able to have that custom aspect, it just once again allows for the homeowner to have their custom solution to where you're building their project, not anybody else's.
And what about stringers for stairs?
So stairs are done a little bit differently. I call it the blocking stairs, which is, just whole 2x10s on the outside.
A closed stringer, yeah.
Closed stringer. Gord told me about a closed stringer about 30 minutes ago. So this is definitely new terminology to me. So I'm definitely going to go and use that more often.
So, there's a hot debate about that. I always did open stringers because that's just how I was taught, so that's what I'm comfortable with. And then sometimes you put your fascia closed against it anyways.
Yep.
But there's a lot of people, especially guys who frame interior houses and stuff, they just close stringers only because it's faster. I think you can do 4-foot OC interior in Ontario at least, which here with most decking we have to do 8 or 9 inch OC with some, or 12 inch OC is the normal standard. Depends on the product, right?
Yep.
You guys would know because you sell the stuff. I don't.
Yep.
I only just work with the same stuff all the time.
You're 8 to 11, 12 inches on center, depending on the line. Yep.
You might as well just build it out of solid wood at that point.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's insane. But for you guys,
But
if
that's
we
what
were,
they're doing.
what's the recommended span of your stair treads for the stringers?
I don't have a recommended span yet. People are doing it at 5 feet apart.
That's crazy.
Nick did one. What was the span between yours?
So I wasn't on site for that aspect, so if I gave you a number, I'd just be making one up. But I know we pretty much, like you said, did the closed stringer. I do know it was fewer than what we had to do with wood, because our wood stringers are standard 9-inch on center for every single one.
That's just to be on the safe side.
And it helps for us for just pricing projects and knowing that, hey, we accounted to build the stairs this way. So that's really what we do to help protect the process.
It's easy to just do one simple, this is what we do, take it or leave it, That makes sense. But in this case, you might not have to anymore.
Exactly, and that's where, like you said, the speed, cost, all those little things that can really, and for us, stairs are probably the slowest aspect of any build.
Yeah.
So if we can speed up stairs, it makes a huge difference on any project wrapping up.
One of my biggest questions for you is, cost-wise, how does it compare to other alternative framings? And also, in my head, the way it's working right now, obviously the bigger the spans, the less material we're using, the more we can shave costs and be more competitive with regular SPF framing.
Sure. Right now we're a little bit less than steel. I'm not sure where we compare to aluminum. So you're spending maybe 3 times the cost of wood if you wanted to go with an alternative lumber.
Yeah.
Such a more direct answer that time around, hey?
Yeah,
wasn't
a little
shy.
bit more.
He's got to practice around there.
That definitely could change a little bit. We're still working on that.
Yeah, but it's a premium. It's meant to be a premium product at that rate.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
And
not
so-
supposed to be competitive with wood. It's a different market.
Yeah, it's supposed to be used kind of like wood, so we're kind of going after trying to replace wood in general.
Okay.
But the whole cost in total, if you were to use our stuff as a system, utilizing our deck boards at 2 feet on center, our understructure for permanent structures, the whole thing, I think it could be potentially cost comparison when trying to do an entire wood project.
On a larger scale product, like the larger the project gets, obviously the more comparable the price will be because less volume, less time, right?
Yep.
Less material.
Well, we talked a little bit too about the fact that this, you referenced it looking so good.
Yeah.
Means you maybe can save the cost of doing your composite fascia board that you made composite. Sorry for you guys, but he gets me.
Yeah. You don't have
You
to.
could save who knows, right? $1,200 of fascia you maybe don't need because that's embossed and looks sexy by itself. You don't necessarily need that, so that can kind of help offset that cost.
You don't have to clad anything.
Right, exactly.
Right,
Both
except
in
for the
labor and
posts.
time,
I guess
right?
you guys don't make 6x6 posts yet, or 4.
No, we're working on 6x6, 4x4 posts, 2x2s, and 1x2s.
Good call. I missed that one in the first episode. What do you guys use for posts on the deck then?
So we, on the project that we're doing, they actually had 4-foot stone bases. Then we ended up with an 8x8 post that we ended up wrapping with a PVC wrap.
Okay.
So we still had to use wood on the interior for those.
What do you got? Could you do like a built-up post in this case? Like,
I personally done it. I built 6x6 posts, laminating 2x6 together.
Yeah.
And it turned out really good. We actually did a dune walkover in St. Augustine Beach, Florida. Full thing out of Wear Deck. 6x6 posts using 4 2x6s together. We used 2x10s for all the understructure. On the stringers, we actually notched them, and then we did 2x4s on the outside of them. And so that with it kind of gave it the strength with it, and then we were able to do an open stringer on that one.
Right.
Okay, so you just put like a strong back on the throat, across the throat of the stringer?
Yes, sir.
And it's the same thing as we would do anyways, right? That adds up.
Yeah. So
how does it fasten to itself? That's one of the most annoying things about composite and PVC is you can't screw it to itself.
Yeah, you can do that with this.
And that's amazing. That already changes the way we can trim things out. The designs we can do now are going to be more complicated because we can screw decking to decking, which normally you can only do with wood, from my experience.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you can use a regular composite deck screw straight into a 2x8 or 2x10, and it'll hold. I think the test came out actually stronger than wood. The screw withdrawal test is actually pretty extraordinary. So we'll release that data out pretty soon too.
Is there any, I forgot to ask this before too, is there any requirements for pre-drilling at the ends of boards or having to stay within a certain distance of the end of a board or something? Like is cracking a possibility?
I mean, you could come up pretty close to the edge if you wanted to. My recommendation is 1 inch in. No need a pre-drill.
No? Okay.
Yeah, you don't need a pre-drill. I mean, you might need a pre-drill if you use like a
structural
screw. But I mean, I was messing around with this thing that I built behind you. I used some camo structural screws on that, held it together, didn't pre-drill it whatsoever, and no issues at all. No splitting, no cracking, nothing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's something about just using, it's going to bug people out at first. Like, it's going to freak people out when they see it framed out of composite. They're going to just think there's lots of sag, lots of deflection, lots of, I guess there won't be any noise. You don't have to worry about that.
Yep.
What's it like deflection-wise? Like,
So we've actually seen almost zero deflection. I mean, we're also framing 12 inches on center, so we feel a little bit more robust than average.
Yeah.
But for us, I mean, I walked across it and it felt nothing. Like there was no shimmy, no shake, like no bounce.
Yeah.
So I mean, for us, that's really one of the biggest things is that homeowner spends all this money on something, like you said, having that deflection.
A trampoline, yeah.
And it's like, well, it passes code, but this doesn't feel how I want it to feel.
Difference between minimum warranted install instruction and user experience.
And
is
so
different.
for us, once we got everything laid out and got that decking down, it was rock solid.
So for me, another big question that I know I get all the time from people is, how am I going to use that? My inspector won't let me use that. The inspectors in my town aren't caught up. What I always tell people is you need a conformity report from an engineer to pass it forward. No matter what you're using, it's all about getting engineer stamps.
Yep.
Do you guys have conformity reports for the product available?
So to be honest, I don't really know what a conformity report is.
It's basically something that would show your town or your inspector that this is equivalent to what they normally allow on a permit for structural purposes.
So in those cases, we've provided calculations and span tables for our understructure, and we'll go ahead and send it off. And sometimes they're like, okay, we need an engineer stamp on this.
Yes.
Sometimes they look at the data like, okay, this is more than suited, and they'll kind of just move on with that. I know in some cases, like in Canada, we really want to try to get in with the CCMC. Or CMCC?
Nope. CCMC, yeah.
CCMC. Gotcha. In the U.S., we're working on getting the ICC, which is like all the, I don't know, just government code, random stuff that comes up with it.
So like so a lot of guys, they'll have, say, permits already filed for the next 24 months, all with wood frames, and if they want to replace their wood frames with this, hey, come on now.
How organized are you?
It's not about organized, it's about sales, baby.
Most of our guys are doing it like the week before, and they're like, what's going on? Why does it take so long?
Yeah, why does it take a while? The permit takes 4 weeks or 6 weeks to get, and we sold it yesterday, so. So if we wanted to, so the problem is for the larger companies, the ones with more volume in sales, making the transition could take a couple years, is what you would think. But that's why the conformity report comes into play. So sometimes I ask manufacturers if they have one, so I don't have to hire my engineer and pay him $1,000 to hit it with a stamp.
Yep, and that's actually one thing that we're trying to put in place is having our own type of engineering with it, especially if you go with a certain type of installation process as well. So, I mean, this does feel like a startup. It's very startup-esque, and we're kind of get all of our ducks in a row and figuring out what the best way to kind of scale this business is. So.
I think it's got potential, man.
Yeah. What was your experience with that when you guys were talking to your building department and were like, here's what we're using? Were they open to it? What did they want from you?
They were thrilled.
Really?
We're very lucky. We've done a lot of legwork over the last few years of being kind of communication standpoint with our building community. Both on any of the municipalities that we use, we really want to be on a first name basis, have those conversations that when we do have these new products, we can take advantage of that to help educate them. They're more receptive to getting those conformity reports and saying, oh, okay, like you guys are actually doing a lot of our legwork for us. I mean, heck, we ran into that about 5 years ago in South Carolina where we were having to help some of their building inspectors because they didn't know when something had to be freestanding versus ledger attached.
Right.
So it's any municipality is going to be different, but having that good relationship with them, it makes all the difference in the world. If you can do it, I know obviously we have some smaller municipalities. It's a lot easier when you have
your inspector by name.
One person behind the counter when you need that permit, and you have two inspectors that they'll actually give you their direct number. That makes it easy, but having the right paperwork and doing things the right way and actually pulling permits will allow you to have that relationship with your inspectors because they've seen more of your work. You aren't just that one time, hey, what are you building here? What's this product? Oh, hey, I know you guys are continually to push the envelope when it comes to new processes and procedures. They're more open to it.
That's how you get to that level too, because I always tell people the best way to educate yourself if you're self-taught in this industry is to pull permits, and the inspector will force you to educate yourself in order to pass each level of inspection until you know how to frame something correctly, and then you could start stepping your game up.
Yeah, it's probably one of the trickiest things for launching a new product is dealing with 65,000 different building departments and all the because they're so all over the place, right? Yours sounds great that they're very kind of leading edge and wanting to adopt new products that are better, and then there's other places that they still won't even let you put a GRK into the ledger. Like there's just some that are just so behind the times. So it's important, I think, for you guys especially to be there in a supportive nature to make sure everybody gets what they need. Otherwise, it dies there, right?
Yeah, and also, honestly, the more stuff that is built out of our product, then the more legible that it becomes. So if someone has a question, I'll be like, hey, look, I worked with the city of the city of St. Augustine, St. Johns County, or whatever, and they can go ahead and call somebody over there. They'll tell them about their experience with the product, and then with it, you get some sort of collaboration and built and trust with the product. So we're trying to get as much of this stuff out there. So that's why we're doing things like this and talking about it, because I mean, we are extremely legitimate, and so we just want more and more people to kind of see that, especially in this new way to do things.
Yeah,
it's exciting. I think it's just an exciting and new thing. I have one more question that's in the back of my head now. I want to get it out. How does, in terms of warranty, can I use your product to frame and another company's product to install the decking?
Absolutely. Honestly, I feel like that's going to end up happening a lot. I mean, we came into the business as a deck board. We've been working with tons of people as decking. We really want to get into the residential deck market. This actually might be a good time for me to introduce my buddy Tony, who builds decks out of Jacksonville, Florida, and so. Yes, you can use other people's products on top of our decking, on top of our understructure. So
yeah, that's smart because I think that structural. There's nobody is married to their structural framing lumber. Like nobody's brand loyal to wood. You know what I mean? So that's going to be an easier transition for you to get in with that lumber. When you're talking about decking, if somebody's an ex-pro for something, it's going to be a lot harder to get them to convince them to come over to your decking when it's like, well, what's it going to do for me that my current decking doesn't already have, and I already do $300,000 of that decking, so I'm taking trips with these guys all the time, whatever. But that can probably be a gateway to like then introduce the decking later once they build trust in your framing lumber. Like, smart to not require them together because that's always dangerous. Every time a company does
and
that,
for
I'm
me,
like,
my
don't do
decisions
that.
are always based on my interests,
Right.
which I know sounds crazy.
That's ridiculous.
But so say I frame it out of wood, but I'm using your product to put the decking. I'm using your decking product.
Yep.
Will those rules apply where I don't need to go 16 OC in order to attach your decking to a regular wood frame?
Oh, no, you can definitely do 24 on center with the regular wood frame. I mean, people are pushing it past that. Like you said before, 3 feet on center. Some people are doing that actually in Canada because that's what the job's calling for. Not with our 5/4 by 6, but with our 2 by 8.
Yeah, with the framing lumber we use as a deck board.
Yep.
See, and it's cool. And the fact that it's black, obviously, the first thing you think of is heat, but really the black is mainly for the framing, not for the deck boards.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, not many people do actually use black for decking.
Under your feet, it's great, yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you can cook some eggs on it.
Yeah, for sure.
What did you guys find? Because it's not a groove board, right? For
No.
the decking I'm talking about now.
It's a
It is
square edge
face
board,
screwed.
yeah.
Yeah, and so is that common in your market, or is it more hidden clip kind of situation?
You know what's really funny is when grooved decking started, it took over, it became the standard, but I think more people, including myself, are starting to do a face screwing method for composite and for hardwood. And like for me, when I do an e-pay deck, I like to face screw. And I've been using composite and I've been face screwing and plugging it as well. We just find it's just a better connection. You don't have to worry as much about expansion, contraction, boards moving, shifting, things like that. So it's becoming more popular to actually face screw than it was 2 years ago. So it's not actually that big of a challenge now, especially with the screw and plug systems that we have. It's a lot faster than it used to be.
Yeah, Starboard makes a really good plug system for us. They're the only ones that I can actually put a plug into our board. At one point, we were working with another company trying to get plugs made with our product, but because it was fiberglass right underneath the skin, they couldn't puncture it. So Starboard's got some system that allows them to actually make plugs with it. So
they couldn't cut the plug itself out of the material, you mean?
they couldn't cut the plug out of the material.
Interesting.
It wouldn't turn out. And so when people are asking for fastener recommendations, for hidden fasteners, I'm recommending camo hidden fasteners.
Okay.
Putting in from the side like a toenail.
Okay.
Some people actually will route grooves into our board and then use clips. Some people use color match screws.
Biscuit joiner you could use, yeah. But I
And
wouldn't
you're okay
bother
with that? You're okay with that? Like that's
Yeah.
a warranted. If they cut a groove down the side of that board, that's fine?
It doesn't void warranty.
Sweet. Awesome. And camo, using the Camo Protec, you have to pre-drill that or no? You, can just drive
You don't
that?
need to pre-drill
The
it.
marksman tool.
That's sweet.
Marksman or
yeah,
camo drive.
pre-drill was a big question. I guess we already covered that though, right?
Yeah.
As long as we're using composite screws?
As long as you're using composite screws.
Are they specific?
Composite.
Or composite.
We got
What do
'em.
you guys call it in Regina? Composite?
No, composite.
Yes, composite. Thank you very much. So the
The
question
lengths
is,
these guys are willing to go to make us Canadians feel comfortable.
is it any composite screw I can purchase? Does it have to be stainless steel? Is it ceramic, epoxy coated, or what's preferred?
I mean, honestly, it's up to your preference. I'm down in Florida, so I only recommend stainless steel 316 because there's always salt in the air. I personally think that if you're going to put down a product that's going to last forever, you might as well put down a screw that lasts as long as possible.
Right.
So people try to cheap out on the screws, and then they get tea stains around them, and it's like, hey, I got rust stains on my deck. I'm like, you can clean off the rust stains, but that's going to keep on happening because you didn't use stainless steel.
Yeah. That's fair.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Where's your head at right now? Just digesting all this.
I'm just soaking this in. I actually wanted to see some of the decking and show the people who are watching, because for some reason podcasts never have much visual other than guys sitting around with microphones in their face, which honestly is boring
Vanna,
unless you're
can
driving.
You grab some samples?
Yeah. So what color is this? What's this called?
That's called the barefoot sand. And the reason why we call it barefoot sand, so we make all of our products is colored with the heat reflective pigment, so it's actually embedded into the skin of the product. So with this, you can walk on that year round, full sunlight, won't have any problems with heat.
So to me, this looks like any mid-range, high-end PVC product.
Yeah, I mean.
Where it's like, I'm not going to name the names, but it looks like things that I install all the time.
Yep.
So that's the big thing to me, maybe even better. So in terms of the client, the difference will only be in the warranty and knowing that they're getting something that's allegedly superior, which we're hoping it is superior.
Of course.
And it still has the same look and feel. Now, how is it with like slippage and...
Slip resistance, I mean, you can walk up that. You can walk up a 45-degree slope while it's wet with flip-flops. I mean, I don't have any type of testing right now to tell you exactly what it is, but yeah.
And then, so deflection, obviously you said it's very minimal. Do we have anything here where we could like jump on it and stuff?
Absolutely we do.
Can I bring the microphone over? We can go without the microphone and just do a test. I think that'd be fun.
Feel free to travel freely up to 9 feet.
Sure.
Up
Here,
to
give me
9
1
feet?
second. Let me
Is
go
that how
get it.
much mic I have?
I don't know how much cord you actually have, but we
I
can
can't
slide
hear
that little
anything.
thing over here.
Oh yeah, let's bring it
Probably
over
easier
here.
to bring the board to you than you to the board, you know?
Oh, for sure. I just want to see, like, could we make like a balancing beam and just like walk across it?
So
this actually
got one right behind you.
So,
It's a really cool demonstration, this little thing.
yeah.
People can't see it, like if they're listening, but
Yeah. Well,
they've got this 2 foot on center sample here built with, a general wood plastic composite
Yeah.
deck board, what you typically find.
Something you buy from the big box stores.
And then they've got their wear
also,
deck product
so
on the back
what
side.
am I
The
standing on right now?
deflection's
We're not going to
crazy.
say names, but this is typically what I would go to Lowe's and purchase as a composite or PVC board.
that's a wood composite.
Yeah,
That's
'cause
stuff they recommend doing that 12 inches on center.
This just does have a bit of deflection, and I was hoping this wasn't your board. I'm like, I stepped on it, I'm like, come on.
Yeah, gigs
What
up.
is this? Okay, let's flip it over and see. Oh, and it's scalloped. Terrible. Oh, wow, yeah. That's like standing on a 2x8, or,
Yeah.
you know, that's
Yeah, it's
crazy.
stiff. It's
I'm
stiff.
only 165 pounds.
Soaking wet.
Tony here is bigger than me in quite a few. 20 pounds more? Well, come step on it and see if it moves.
What's the exchange
I don't
rate
know,
on that?
man.
I'm
You
just
the people at home need to see the real stuff. What do you think deflection-wise compared to this? And then flip it over and then the gray side.
What is that? I mean, that's a quarter at most, right?
Yeah, that was barely anything. That looks like you're about to snap it right off
Jump
the
up and down, it might
fasteners.
snap.
Look at that. The fasteners might snap right off.
there's no doubt it's strong. Yeah.
No brand
Yeah,
dropping.
this
By the
scallop-
end of the day, those boards are gonna be touching. It's gonna be all the one side, like leaning
Yeah,
in.
friends don't let
Doesn't
friends
look like a
install scallop decking. We don't do that. So that's pretty cool. And now I guess we have questions from Tony
Yeah.
about this.
Hop on here, buddy.
Let me get my headphones back on because I need to hear what you guys are saying.
Tony McKlem, is that how we say your last name? I haven't taken a run at that before.
Yeah, there's Irish in here.
Okay.
My eyes are just like yours, but I'm wearing contacts.
Perfect.
And this is a tan, Florida tan.
Yeah. From Hollywood Decks is where we got him joining from. So you're out of Florida, yeah?
We're based out of Florida, yeah, Fernandina Beach area, so northeast Florida.
Okay. And you guys have installed some of this or no?
We absolutely love this.
Okay.
So we're originally from the West Coast, and we didn't learn about this till 3 years ago when we moved to the East Coast. And that's when that product was shown to us. And we liked the feel of it. We liked the composition of it.
Yeah.
So we tried it out, and it was phenomenal to install. I mean, by far one of the easier ones to install and to put down than the rest.
Because what a lot of people aren't going to know is that this product isn't new. It's new to a lot of people,
Yep.
but it's been in Florida for 10 years, and
Oh, yeah.
like there's lots of this product out there,
Oh, yeah.
and it's performed great. It's just newer to other markets right now.
When you install, do you use galvanized nails, use screws, regular wood screws? What do you use to frame, I mean?
So when we frame, we use
Yeah.
galvanized nails. So
Okay.
the framing,
He hasn't
frame
used
with
a
this.
rear deck frame
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
to frame with this, we haven't installed framing yet. We've
Ah,
installed
okay.
the decking, and the decking we install on a regular basis.
What are your spans for your joists when you use this decking?
Well, so we never max out code, right?
Okay.
So code would allow you to go, right, quite a ways.
Yeah.
We're not comfortable with any span more than, 7, 8 feet at most.
We need to find a bare minimum contractor and get him in here.
Yeah, no,
and just find
I'm
out
sure
how
there's-
far we
I'm
can
sure,
push
I'm
this
sure
thing.
if we throw a rock, we might be able to hit one.
Yeah, yeah,
But,
there's tons of
yeah,
them.
I'm sure folks out here that'll probably run, 20 feet.
Yeah, oh yeah.
20 feet on a 2x8. Yeah, I'm sure. But
I would love to.
But so here's the big kicker, right?
my own house.
Not only with the joisting, but with the actual deck boards on this and why we like it. Right, those two lines you see on the top and on the bottom.
Yeah.
Right, it's reinforced fiber. Nobody else on the market has this.
It's tensile
right?
strength.
Nobody. And when I tell you the resistance on this guy, as soon as you put the screws into it, when I tell you it tightens up, it tightens up. So if you have any bow, even at a 24-inch center, as soon as you put the screws in, it literally just tenses up. So the strength on this guy is surreal. The weight rating is real.
Have you ever had a screw snap on you?
When we install?
Yeah.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, so that's the other thing, right? When we install the deck boards, screws like butter, right?
Yeah.
Whether we're installing just hands and feet or whether we're installing with a stand-up tool, there's no resistance. It goes in real smooth and it stops and it stays flush. Versus some of the other products that we install, right? You got to pre-drill and you got to prep, and even then, and you get the little volcano action going.
Anything has to be pre-drilled, I don't use it. We're done. It's 2022 now. We don't have to pre-drill anymore. Let's stop. Let's make sure our screws are pre-drilling for us. I have a question for you, though. What do you guys recommend fastener-wise for framing with this material?
For framing, so you can use hangers. I've actually done some testing using Simpson hangers and structural screws, and test results turned out actually phenomenal. So typically with wood, when you go to test for hangers, it snaps. The second it snaps, it fails.
Yeah.
But with WearDeck, it doesn't snap. It just bends a lot, and then it'll sometimes come out of the hanger with enough force. So you can use hangers. You can also use.
Does it take a nail gun? So if I'm running around with the 3 1/4 inch galvanized nail gun and I'm just going boom boom toenailing like you would with wood,
right?
Is that going to deflect the nails, or like if I'm say I'm a regular contractor who just uses 3-inch deck screws to frame the whole deck?
Yep.
They're going to snap probably trying to do this. But so the way I'm going to look at it while I'm framing is like I'm framing with galvanized steel, where I have to use hanger and Simpson strong tie systems and stuff like that. Not necessarily that brand, but so even when I'm toenailing my joists into my beam, I'm probably going to have to use some sort of hanger system.
Well, but you could use sorry.
Go ahead.
for it.
I've been here now
me.
long enough that I'm going to start. Listen here, Gord. You can use like a universal framing screw, something like what U2 Fasteners has, whatever. Like, because you can use any wood screw in here. It's like, it'll drive just the same.
Yep.
So if you wanted to use an actual screw that was meant for framing and not just a ceramic deck screw that you're not supposed to be using, just use a proper screw, but it would work. There's no reason it wouldn't work. You wouldn't have to pre-drill it, or like it would drive fine, right?
Yeah, it would. I mean, you could use a nail gun in it. I wouldn't really recommend it because screws just hold way better.
But we need to figure out warranty versus fasteners.
Yeah.
Because
So
if I'm just like a guy who's used to framing with wood, and I'm going to frame this exactly like I frame with wood, and then it falls apart, and I'm like, damn you, WearDeck, what happened?
Yeah, no shot. I would definitely not warrant using our understructure with nails. It just it wouldn't work out. You got to use structural screws.
Yeah, so I treat it like I would treat, say, like a regular steel framing system, and just use, the appropriate hardware.
for sure.
So that's a big factor for us, in terms of warranty, right? Because we warranty all of our projects, right? So we need to be able to go home and go to sleep at night, right? And know that this isn't going to fail. And so one of the big things that we also do is even our top screw systems, or whatever we use, right, to attach these boards, we check, right? Because each different decking company has their own approved list of fasteners and attachments. And the one that we've used with WearDeck, right, they have a side screw where you can angle it on the edge down here. I don't know if you've seen it. Camo offers it.
Yeah, the Camo X-Edge, or the Camo Edge
those
clip.
are the clips, right?
No,
those are the clips.
Camo,
Marksman, the Pro Check
Marksman
screws.
Pro, yeah.
Yeah,
Please,
yeah.
Jesus, how
So
many
you put a little
made
angle.
a dozen videos on that tool for Camo.
So there's that,
my
right?
God.
So I think the only board we would use that on, that angle screw, is on WearDeck. Because
Okay.
if you do it on any others, that edge is going to break off and snap, right?
The capping sometimes can be brittle.
Yeah, and so in that case, with this, we've installed that, and we've installed hundreds of boards with that angle screw.
Yep.
It holds so good.
So it's not
You can
only the
literally
warranty
see
from
this
them, but your
pull.
labor warranty, you feel more comfortable doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we would only do that with WearDeck. We
Yeah.
couldn't do it with any other board because, again, and we have had it happen where we tested that system on the other ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
And rightfully so. They don't warrant it because it fails. And we tried it just for kicks, right? We got to prove it to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So sure enough, we screwed it, and the edges were breaking off. But WearDeck doesn't. It'll go in, it'll go clean, it'll hide, and it's such a good attachment.
I like it.
Yeah, we've actually had several. There was a marina in North Carolina. It went completely underwater during one of the hurricanes. It was all Camo Drive edge fasteners, and not one board popped up.
Yeah, that's actually a really cool thought, because I don't build docks, but I know a lot of people that do.
Nor do I.
And just to think that I could frame an entire dock out of this, and I'm now the best dock builder in my town, because I know for a fact I'm warranting the frame of a dock. And even with galvanized steel or aluminum, I wouldn't necessarily trust it around water as much as, I don't know if it's just because my brain doesn't work right, but I feel like I would trust this around water more than I would trust steel or aluminum in the water versus the fasteners. Yeah, so you don't build docks either, though.
No, I like to stay on ground.
Do we have someone here who builds docks?
I think
there's
not at this table.
Maybe at the
No.
DeckExpo.
Oh, that's over there.
Other half of the show, actually.
Stay tuned, PSP.
Yeah.
No, that's it's just great to think about. Or if you're in a very temperate zone or a place with lots, or if you're near water. I always find that when I'm framing with alternative framing methods near bodies of water, there's rust everywhere, and you gotta like run magnets and vacuums and blowers to make sure that the rust doesn't get on the PVC and then ruin my life.
Yeah,
right. Because
I mean,
that happens.
if you get a rust stain on it, it'll come out with like a liquid rust remover too. So
like some CLR or something.
yeah.
So I don't know if you guys already covered the whole span on the deck board.
A little bit,
24
like we
inches.
keep saying it, but I feel like we need to keep saying it.
So here's the thing with that too, right? With the whole 24 inches on center, that when you start factoring the cost per square feet, right, for those builders that factor that per square feet, so the cost to you, if you're minimizing your lumber, right, will give you just a bigger gap in terms of profit margins, right?
Yep.
So the overall cost of a wear deck project should be less because you can span 24 inches on center, so you're running less joists.
Less wood and less time from the guys installing the wood.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but to some, those that are skeptic, right, or those that are out there saying, well, I would never put 24 inches on center, right?
Okay.
We have folks out there that are talking about, well, I don't even go 12 on center, right? That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Go for it. If you want to overkill it and just spend a whole lot of money on PT,
do your thing,
go
man.
for it.
That's
right?
their marketing. That's their budget. That's how they market, though, is they go, we do insane overbuilding, and there's certain people who would want to hire them just because of that.
Right.
Yeah.
But in our case, we've done it. We trust it. We believe it. We explain it, right? Because it's also an education that you got to do to the client, to the inspectors, right? To whoever's coming out to look at your project.
Yeah.
Because it stands out. And even when we upload some of our videos and we're like, hey, look, here's the framing ready for the wear deck. It's going on. Everybody's like, those joists look like they're damn near 2 feet apart. Hey, they are.
And that's another big selling point in my brain that I think of all the time, and I always thought that no one else would share it, but I'm starting to think that more people are thinking this way. We do a video of us installing these and doing, say we're doing the snap line, and then we're going to cut all of our joists that are running over the... that video is going to, let's just be honest, it's going to have more viral potential online than cutting wood joists.
Just because of the,
Because A, people are going to argue with it before they do the research like they always do. And then B, it looks weird. And people are going to ask, what are you doing and where did you get that, right? So even if you're a contractor who's starting to try to break in by using online marketing, it probably is a good idea to use unique things in order to market your business and stand out from everyone else.
Spark that conversation,
yeah. And normally that's something I would only say to other influencers, but I think it's at the point now where pretty much everyone who owns a business needs to stand out online now.
Yeah. And so that's just our big kick. When we start framing, we start prepping for this, we're like, yeah, look, these are 24, it's going to be solid, it's going to be good, right? And whatever feedback we get, we show them after the fact, right? Whatever we install and whatever we put down, we always like to brag about it and show it off. By far, clients are happy, and then that's what we tell them all the time. Look, clients are happy, right? You can have whatever thought you want. We know what we're building and how we're putting it together, and as long as the client is satisfied and at the end of the day, we trust our product, we warranty our product, and we get home and go to see.
It's a game changer. To me, this is the most exciting thing at this trade show today.
It's great.
Boom.
Yeah.
Bold statement.
That's big.
I guarantee it.
Sound, I can back that up.
Yeah, it's a game changer. It's going to change the way we build things in the future, I think. And then you're going to have people who try to copy you when they realize this is a great idea, and this is going to be a standard. Wood frames will be a joke. They'll be something that you only do by yourself for yourself.
We're hoping, the DIYers.
Yeah,
Shouldn't have put that in your name.
Yeah.
Putting wood in your name is going to be a problem here in about 2-3 years.
I bully the wood industry. I'm here to change the game.
Bullied it right out.
Yeah.
So two things happen. How can people, for Jimmy, get in front of us and see it? Like they're here. So I walked up here and I saw a picture online. I thought it looked really cool, but it wasn't until we were here, talked about it, felt it, looked at it, and was like, and the same thing as Gord. All of a sudden, I was like, this is actually really cool.
Yeah.
Like James told me beforehand, like, this is really cool. Check this out. And it was like, went to the website and was like, yeah, okay. But until you get your hands on it and actually look at it and feel it, Gord did the same thing. He walked up, was like, what's this all about? Now he's like, now he's just like vibrating. How can people that aren't here get their hands on it? Are you doing other trade shows? Do you mail out samples? Like, how does that happen?
So the best way to kind of get a hold of it is just to reach out to one of the guys that work for Owens Corning Wear Deck. We've got all of our information on the website. We have a limited distribution, mainly in like Florida along the East Coast, in Canada, Texas, just kind of spotty around the country right now. So if you're ever looking for a sample, if you email us, call us, whatever it is, we'll go ahead and we'll ship you one for free. And check it out. Let me know what you think of it, and if you're looking for it, I'll let you know how to get it.
That's awesome.
great.
Gord, do you have any more
go
questions?
to our Instagram and check out some of those computer projects. We try to post some of those fun things through the project. So if they're looking to see some of that installation, the way we put it down, the way we
I want
cut
to
it.
see just pictures of the frame before the boards go on of this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So like,
We got plenty of it.
I'm like, I want to race home. I want to get a bunch of this framing and just start framing decks with this, just so I can leave them framed with no boards, just so that even people walking by, maybe I'll start at my house, and then people walking by will be like, what the hell's going on over here? And they'll be like, you're not using that composite right, buddy. Yeah. And I'll be like, don't worry, I got this.
That's supposed to go on top.
Yeah, that's what we're going to get a lot of at first is people are going to be like, why is he putting it like that? That's wrong. He's framing out of deck boards. What a moron. I'm seeing it now. I'm calling it. I'm like Nostradamus of this stuff. I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you're a hack.
Yeah, for sure.
Tony, what is your Instagram so people can follow you?
We are at Hollywood Decks. Hollywood Decks on Instagram.
No .com.
Or HollywoodDecks.com. But yeah, we're on Instagram and I think Facebook.
Sweet. And Will, you can be found just about anywhere.
Yeah. You find me on your For You page, whether you like it or not. I hear that a lot, actually.
What if it's not for me? It does
If
not
you have
matter.
a phone, you've probably been annoyed by me before, so yeah.
Yeah. What about you guys? We didn't really talk about that. Where can people find more information?
You can go to owenscorningweardeck.com. If you just Google Owens Corning
Can I
Wear
make
Deck,
a
you'll find it.
recommendation?
Yeah.
That's a long ass.
I know.
Big domain
Cut to the
name.
chase here.
Yeah, the OG website is weardeck.com. I mean, if you go on both of those, you'll find
That'll
it.
work,
So
yeah.
yeah, we're still working on marketing.
WEAR.
Well, that's good.
Yep.
Yeah, not like werewolf.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too.
Deck.
Wear deck, because we can like
Yeah.
frame. It's like half framing, half decking. It's like a mix of like a half man, half wolf.
Yeah,
But that's
we,
not the case because your last name is Ware. So
Yeah, I know, and so we
makes
are going to
sense.
rebrand the understructure. So I don't think my name's going to be tied to this one, but that'll be all right.
Oh, Che?
Change is good.
you
Change
can
is
call
very
it
good.
like Gordon
yeah, Gord
framing.
deck.
Yeah.
No, Gord frame.
Gord frame.
Structs.
Yeah. Just whatever, and put my face in the grain structure. That'd
I
be
love
cool.
it.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet, actually.
Yeah,
you wanted to, they talk about customization. How about
Yeah.
faces in the
Yeah.
embossing of the...
That's cool.
I bet you can
How
probably
about
get one of those
tattooed
cattle
deck
brands.
boards? Oh, this is, like, we're going to go somewhere with this.
That is cool. We're going somewhere with this because I like the idea of doing the custom colors. And you said you don't have all the details worked out for the size of a run we would need to get a custom color, but obviously you got hot pink here to
Yeah.
match the Owens Corning trademark Pink Panther.
It's not available. It's just strictly for marketing purposes.
But if I was going to message you and I want to do an inlay at my say I have a what are those guys called? They buy the warehouse, they fill it with their products. What do they call it? You have one of those showroom.
Yeah.
Now, so say
I was not. I was like, I was digging deep into my encyclopedia.
Yeah,
like,
you're
what?
like, what
Dictionary's just rolling. I was like,
It's too obvious for me to know it. That's why. I mean, my brain's too smart for obvious words.
Oh, that's great.
So say I have a showroom and I want to
Yeah.
get my company logo colors, and I can do that to do an inlay. For example,
That's true. Yeah. I
he
got
said
some
he was doing the
specific
Ronald
colors.
McDonald house. If he wants to get like Ronald McDonald's face as an inlay, or even you, how many different colors would you need to pull that off?
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 colors.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big
I can't even
commitment.
count.
Oh wait, don't
could
get
do that
excited about
now.
my logo. Hold on. No, never mind. Don't talk about my logo. Keep
But
going.
even me, like, my
about
logo
wearing.
is gold and black, and it even fades. Anyways, but the point is, custom colors would be pretty cool. So it's one of those things where, say, a client is married to the idea of using a product based on the colors he saw in a
Their house.
picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I send you that? Say whatever it is, and go. Can we make this color
sample siding
happen?
and match, like, color match.
So
or
we
something?
can just get over the whole I want this color thing because now you can have this color, or is that some side of legal conflict or something?
So that is a great idea, but no way we can act like a Sherwin-Williams on that. Color matching is pretty tough. So, I mean, given
But is
the
it legal? Like, I don't know anything about that side of the industry. Can I just take a blah, blah, blah board and go, give me this color?
I have no idea if it's legal or not. I mean, I feel like if it wasn't legal, then Sherwin-Williams would have a big problem in other paint companies and stuff.
Yeah,
'cause
straight up.
They color match
Yeah.
stuff all the time. I bring
Yeah.
in a blade of grass and like,
That's right.
I want this green on my wall.
Yeah. But I think it's a cool
I don't do
idea.
that.
Just because I'm just thinking sales-wise, how am
Yeah.
I going to, say I have 100 decks already sold, and I want to use this now instead for my own peace of mind. I need to figure out how to make this work in my design. So even if you don't have a color, I can request a similar color of this be made by you guys for this
God,
one.
he sounds like a lot of work already, doesn't he?
I am a
Just buy the stock colors, Gord.
Just
buy the stock color.
You guys get that purple color.
I'm gonna need a purple with a gradient and a 21.5 foot boards.
Yeah, and I want it to fade slowly into
yeah.
color.
The RGB
Purple
code.
gradient to yellow.
Oh man.
So anyways, I just keep trying to think of things that are cool about this, and I'm trying to think of things that suck about this, and I can't think of very much at all other than the fact that you got to wear PPE, but you have to do that with everything. So
Yeah, I feel like it's highly recommended as period.
what
to wear
about you? Do
PPE.
you wear?
No, so that's the thing with us, right? I
You're
if-
conditioned.
for anybody that's worked with fiber, right?
Yes.
It's just part of it, right?
Yeah,
You already
yeah.
know. And so what we've said is, if the only offset to this is that, yeah, we're going to get some of those little burrs on our hands, right? That's all right. Heck, we'll throw gloves or we won't, right?
Yeah.
Because at the
It's
end
your
of the
choice.
day, for those that are still framing with wood, right? You get those little
We breathe
splinters
in
every now and then.
sawdust.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's just part of it. But the benefits to that, right? The offset to
Yeah.
us having some of those little just fiber burrs in us.
So some people are
It's
going to
a
wear
phenomenal
long sleeve
product.
shirts. Some people are conditioned; they don't do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, we always just wear long sleeve shirts just
Yeah.
for work. Yeah,
Okay.
That's just us. But we don't wear gloves or anything. I mean, and it's very minimal.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you're ripping. When we rip one of these guys, yeah.
Because when I frame with steel, I wear long sleeves just because the sparks and the little,
Right.
the hot little burrs that fall on my arms make me
Yeah.
look like a junkie.
Yeah, we
so
standard
we have to
just,
get
yeah,
rid of
we
that.
standard just wear long sleeves all
Which
the time.
half
Yeah.
your audience thinks you look like a junkie already anyway. There's no comments. You're just
Yeah,
fitting the part.
Whatever.
Everybody likes your pants, man. Your
Yeah,
pants
they
are a hot
love the
topic.
pants, the
Those pants
hair,
are
the
nice.
Oh,
glasses,
do you buy
the
them at Hot
watch.
Topic, by the way?
No.
No, you don't.
But I bought this one today at Planet Hollywood. Look at that. That's a dope black.
That's
That's probably
a nice
the best
shirt.
Black Sabbath shirt I've ever seen. That's why I
said-
buy it.
Sorry, you said Planet what?
Hollywood.
Okay.
Oh, is that? Do you own
Planet
that
Hollywood
resort? Is that
decks.
what's happening? Didn't even think of that. Man.
Bitch.
Putting
Okay,
things
cool. Well,
together.
we should wrap this thing up and get out here and enjoy the rest of the show. This has been awesome. Like, just seriously, not even just from like creating content on the internet, but this is like very informative. Love the product. It seems super awesome. I check out the website, hit them up for samples because I think getting this stuff in your hands is when it really like clicks.
Yeah.
For a lot of people. So
Thanks very much for giving me the opportunity to help show the world what this product looks like. So
yeah, looking forward to seeing it get
For
out there.
those skeptics, reach on out to us. We'd be glad to share some of the input and some of the feedback. We've worked with it for years now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It is
That's
definitely
crazy,
great.
yeah.
So hit up Hollywood Decks if you have any questions about it too, and let them give you some firsthand experience.
share some.
Awesome.
Big
Okay,
time.
appreciate it, guys. Enjoy the rest of the show. See you guys around next week.
Toodaloo.
Thanks, Gord.
cheers.
No problem.
Hey, thank you for listening to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Now you know what we're about. Check the site, come and shop. UltimateDeckShop.com. Hit us right away for sponsorships, or tell us if you want to collaborate. Let's go. Check us out on any social networks. Thank you for listening.